Hello, and welcome to the Zadian Revue. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Zadian.
And today, we're gonna explore some very interesting topics.
The main thing is that we normally open up, talk about a little bit of Florida Man action.
Which this technically still is Florida Man.
Technically this is, but it's been a hell of a news week. There's been a lot that's going on. And there was stuff that went on after we recorded, or right before we recorded last week, which was the shooting.
Oh yeah, it was happening while we were recording.
I think it was.
Actually.
So, yeah, it's been a lot of stuff has happened, and we just want to touch on a few things. We're not going to really talk about the shooting. Matt, the mainstream media's got that covered.
All right, let's not turn this into another political episode.
I'm not. What we want to talk about, though, is something that we've talked about prior to, which is the Epstein case.
Which, if you want to hear more about that conversation, you can check out our episode on human trafficking.
Well, we talked about it there, yeah.
That was the main one we started there. And I don't remember where else we talked about it, but it has been a few.
It was in episode 6 we talked about it. We did a recap where he originally tried to hang himself. Big quotations on that. As a matter of fact...
Yeah, they were just setting the stage, making it look like he had issues.
Right. And I can't help but...
oh, Lord.
Let's take a little trip.
Okay.
I mean, you got to think he's connected to 2 U.S. presidents. One served for 8 years. The other one's for 4 years, or going to be for at least 4 years.
Yep. And
is coming up on re-election. And he's already lost a cabinet member to this whole debacle, even though, I mean, you go one way or the other on that. So it doesn't surprise me that he would wind up suiciding himself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And spoiler warning, he wound up suiciding himself.
Supposedly. Allegedly.
And that's what we want to talk about at the start of this, because there is just... When CNN, MSNBC, CBS, when all the news agencies out there, like the Washington Post, like everyone is sitting there going, really? Did he really kill himself? And that's a huge red flag.
Right. When all the Fox News people are like, I don't know what to say. I find it hard to believe that he killed himself. And then when you really start to like dig in and see all the details behind it.
Bad. It is bad. It is a lot of bad things have gone on with this. So, listening to and reading some articles and stuff on this, crazy thing number 1, he just 2 weeks ago tried to off himself, and he wasn't even on suicide watch for all that long. And this is the first red flag. When you're on suicide watch in prison, you have a cellmate. You always have a cellmate. They took the day he killed himself, they took his cellmate out, which is, it goes against protocol. He's not supposed to be on his own for a long time because he tried to kill himself.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Air quotes.
That's just like a, okay, all right. So if that was the only thing that happened, all right. Cause so they
that could be like, oh, gross oversight on the prison's part.
Yeah. It's like, okay. The other part of this is you're supposed to have armed guards out. Not armed guards, but
you're
guards.
supposed to have a guard either in the cell or directly outside of the cell anytime someone's on suicide watch.
That's correct.
You're also supposed to remove all towels, washcloth sheets, blankets. They even remove the fire sprinklers, the light fixtures.
Yeah. You see,
so how did this man get...
Well, that's just... All right, so she just listed off a bunch of the other crazy stuff. Which, again, supposed to have a guard. All this stuff is supposed to be removed from the room. Like, all this crazy stuff. There's also, in this particular prison, 24-hour CCTV in the cell of a prisoner who is on suicide
Correct.
watch.
Yes.
So that you have the guard outside the prison cell.
Mm-hmm.
You have the prisoner in the prison cell with another prisoner. There's nothing in the prison cell that they can hang themselves with. And it's supposed to be televised to the control center so that if he does try to kill himself, they can call down and say, hey, guard, go in the cell. So there's supposed to be all these redundancies and backups and everything.
And spoiler alert.
He kills himself.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say, spoiler alert, the CCTV goes down.
Oh, yeah.
He magically finds something to hang himself. He's in a room by himself. There's no guard.
It is unreal.
Oh, and then you have to take into account that this is the first suicide that has ever happened in this prison.
Yeah, the only one.
This is a maximum security prison. This is where El Chapo was held.
And this prison's been around for a long time. It's not.
El Chapo, the man who is known for escaping prisons, couldn't get out. And you're telling me someone killed themselves inside?
So that's what we just gave to you is the facts of what's happened, right? This is all true. This is all come from credible news sources. This has all come from, there's backing up of all of this information that we just gave you. Now, if you dip into the conspiracy theory side of things, it gets even crazier.
Oh, yeah.
Because apparently there was a prison transfer in the middle of the night.
It wasn't a prison transfer.
Or
it was a what they call weekend release or a trip van.
Yeah, trip van.
A trip van showed up. Well, and that's not even that's only part of it. Apparently, so at 4:15 every night or every morning, they do a count of all the prisoners, make sure everyone's where they're supposed to be. Right before this count takes place, they come in and get him, put him in a wheelchair, take him to medical, even though all of the triage nurses have come out and said, "Oh no, we didn't see him. We don't know what happened." Blah blah blah. So, supposedly, allegedly, from some sources that have been brought to my attention, this person's said that he was taken to medical and then brought back and placed in a non-suicide single-person cell. Then, while all of this is going on, a trip van shows up, which they only do weekend release. They don't do weekend release. The only time they ever do weekend release is if a judge signs off on an order saying it's okay. So this trip van shows up to do a weekend release in the middle of the night, and the tower guards notes that there are people in the van in military garb.
Yeah.
And there is no record of the van ever being there. I want to make sure I get my details right.
I was going to say, are you taking a text in the middle of this?
No, I'm pulling up the.
We talked about this last week.
I know. I'm pulling up the.
We'll pull it up real quick.
The actual thing. Okay, so the trip van did not sign in. No one recorded the plate numbers, and I think that was the only thing. And then the people in green military outfit in the back of the van. So this part of the conspiracy is that people are thinking they switched out the bodies.
Yeah.
And so they're thinking that one of two things. This could go one of two ways. He's either free, roaming the streets of his private island, terrorizing women.
Which I doubt seriously.
Well, okay, but hear me out.
Okay, I'm hearing you out. I'm just telling you, I don't believe that.
It's not likely, but there are people that believe that people switched him out and are let him free so that he can continue his work, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
Because, there's not thousands of other people in high profile situations that are not, that are trafficking women. Sure, you can't find anybody else. So you have to go to Epstein.
Yeah, you do.
The other one, people think, is that they switched out the bodies so that he could be tortured and kept barely alive for quite some time.
Yeah, but then
Much darker purpose.
It is, but and here's my rationale behind all of that. Someone needs this to go away.
Correct.
And whether it is Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, or any of the other countless rich people that were involved with this.
Political figures.
Yeah, political figures.
I mean, the laundry list.
Sultan of Saudi Arabia?
I don't know. There's so many national...
Or was he a prince?
Prince. There was a prince, a highly popular prime minister.
Yeah, like it is nuts. There's
a lot of foreign nationals.
A lot of foreign nationals. Like the more information has come out, and it is just like there are so many people involved with this. Like I said, I'm not surprised he ended up suiciding himself.
Yeah. Well,
this was going to happen. This was going to happen.
I kind of feel like the suicide a couple weeks ago was because a lot of people think it was an attempted hit that went wrong.
No, I think he tried to.
No, because he thinks way too highly of himself to off himself.
Well, that's
he
very
thinks
true.
He is not in the wrong at all.
That's very true. He still hasn't admitted guilt.
This is the type of person that thinks he has done no wrong and has way too high of a self-esteem and an ego to try and off themselves. So a lot of people do think that this was a hit gone wrong. My personal belief is that this was all staged so that it would look like a suicide later. Maybe that's a lot of work to go through.
No, they would have just killed him on the first go.
But with the reason why I think it may have been staged to kind of put things in motion, if you will, is because of how mainstream #Clinton body count has become.
Well, yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
So if you're
so is Trump body count, which is not a thing.
Right.
Because Trump, anyways, keep going.
Anyways, but I think if you're going to do that, that's a good way to, make it look like he's already troubled. So when he does off himself, air quotes.
Yeah, but
it's not going to be.
You're running the risk of him actually saying something, or I guess no one would have believed him regardless. That's.
But if you have someone come and try to kill you already, you're not going to say anything. You're going to be like, oh crap, they're serious. Like, I'm really not going to talk now.
I don't know. I think that's more risky than
Possibly.
Actually just following through with it and just killing him.
It's possible.
I would say the first attempt was probably a botched job. This was making
either a botched job or maybe a prisoner tried to kill him.
In the first one, yeah. I think that's a possibility.
That's probably more likely than like a botched hit.
But this one was definitely.
There's a
lot of stuff.
Much. So,
of course, we'll never know unless the person who killed him actually confesses and has evidence. Obviously, this is gonna be one of those things that goes down in conspiracy theory.
History.
It's gonna be something that is talked about. That'll be pondered just like the JFK assassinations, because along those lines. So, and it's. I actually heard a good JFK assassination conspiracy. It was very interesting. Apparently, he's the only president that signed executive order to take power away from the Fed, and then he wound up dead. Like a couple of weeks later. It was an interesting conspiracy theory. Anyway, so we're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're talking about this.
Right.
But I just thought it was interesting because I do want to do a conspiracy theories podcast one day.
Yeah.
Which we're kind of technically doing with this.
But we're not. No, this is not. Yes, this is highly rooted in a conspiracy theory. But
yeah, I just, man, I don't see how this is not a hit.
right.
God, I just can't.
You are either like the most unluckiest person,
yeah,
or luckiest if you really were trying to off yourself. I just psychologically I don't see him as the type of person to off himself.
I don't know. People do crazy things in prison, so that's always a possibility.
Yeah, this is true.
But it sure does look fishy.
Right.
It sure does look fishy. Like, I mean, damn. And they all these things, like moving him into a single cell and stuff like that, goes against the prison policy for suicides, and it doesn't add up in my mind. It doesn't add up.
Yes, no, it does not. I'm looking at some articles right now about it. So apparently, they said, so it's also protocol for guards to check on inmates on suicide watch every 30 minutes.
Yes, yeah, that was one of the other things that was.
If the inmate appears to be asleep, they are to wake them up.
Yeah.
They're also saying that if guards falsified documents saying they made the rounds, but they actually didn't, and they find out that they are going to prosecute, and that the 2 guards that were on duty were also on heavy overtime that week. Right. So the one guy was on, both of them were on overtime. One was on mandatory overtime, and the other one was on his 5th overtime shift that week.
God damn.
Right.
I know how tiring that could be.
Yes. They're saying no foul play is suspected.
They've already ruled out foul play.
The article I'm looking at, which I know you said there was a lot that had just happened in the past few hours. The article I'm looking at is about the autopsy. They've already done the autopsy. Right.
Oh my God.
So this says that let me go back up. The autopsy was performed by the chief medical examiner that a private pathologist observed the autopsy at the request of Epstein's representatives. I guess they're afraid that city's gonna fake something
to see if there's any drugs in his body. I guess probably, but let me guess. Did they cremate the body right afterwards?
It does not say yet.
Because if they did, that would be like a huge red flag. Like, look, we cremated the body too. We're following the playbook.
Now, this does say that the New York City Medical Examiner's Office has not determined the manner of death yet.
Oh, okay.
They're probably waiting for the check to clear.
Yeah. Got to get that Clinton money.
Right. Hashtag Clinton money.
Well, so that's pretty much gets everyone back up to date with our take on the Epstein stuff. Mm-hmm. Boy, it's always sad when we lose a pedo. Always sad.
Yes, it is sad.
Actually, yeah, it is kind of sad that this guy died because he may have been able to take down a lot of people. No,
that's not what I was going to say. I am saying it's sad because now you have a whole slew of women who have come out and have had to rehash out all this trauma that they've lived for years, hoping to finally get their justice in court, only for the man to have died somehow.
I mean, he's dead. That's kind of a win, isn't it?
Not really, if you think about it. You have been sold and raped and abused, not just by this one person, but by all of his rich friends. Now, who will now never
get away with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well.
And I mean, we don't know. From what I've heard, it doesn't seem like he was the one partaking in the young women.
He was just facilitating.
Right. It. So basically, you're the pimp, and you're pimping all these women out, which is still awful, but the people that have really caused the physical trauma to you are going to walk out scot-free. And a lot of the victims have actually come out since he was found dead and have said, we don't care if he's dead. Sorry that happened, but we're still pushing, and we can tell you every single person we've seen, and we expect for justice to be brought to all of these people too. Like, they're not.
Oh, so the women who were who were forced into it, they're still pushing for
a lot of
punishment of the
yes. A lot of the victims that came out with the original charges have spoken out again since he was found dead, and said, sorry, but we're not you may silence him, but you're not going to kill all of us. Like, you're not going to silence our voices. And we know who was there, and we know what happened, and we want to see this. We didn't go through all of this just for it to end
here.
Yeah.
So there may be a happy story at the end of it.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
The happy story will be that the Clinton body count just goes higher.
Well,
I mean, that's going to happen regardless.
Yeah. Well, #Clinton body count. All right. Well, that's enough of Epstein.
Yeah. And we'll keep updating as we...
Yeah, this one kind of strikes a chord with us because of the whole human trafficking thing.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Anyways.
All right, so... moving on.
originally, I wanted to talk about dreams, but now I kind of want to... I don't know what I want to talk about.
Do I need to pull out my fishbowl?
No, we're not doing the fishbowl idea. That's you can do that on your week.
Yeah, this is your week. And like you said, we were going to talk about dreams and aspirate. No,
not dreams and aspirations.
Every time we say this, I immediately...
Dreams and nightmares. I guess we can still talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
You...
Don't dream, ever.
You gotta have some dreams.
So, for those that don't know, I have sleep apnea. So I never get into a REM state of sleep. But when I do, I don't have happy dreams. They're always nightmares.
Really?
Yes, 100%. They're always nightmares, and I always wake up in a cold sweat, panicked.
Damn, that must suck.
It does.
On the other hand, I dream all the time, and I have very, very vivid dreams. And I dream in color, and I remember a lot of my dreams. So, which is not normal. A lot of people don't remember their dreams, but I can actually recall certain dreams that I've had throughout the years.
Yeah. I have a few like that.
I mean, I do have my fair share of nightmares, and don't get me wrong, man.
Look out when you do have one.
Boy, when I have a nightmare, it sucks because it's like I said, I dream very vividly, and I remember it when I wake up. So I've been a little bit of a paranoid mode when I wake up sometimes from a nightmare.
Weird.
You're
usually the first thing you do is come hunt me down and make sure I'm okay and the kids are okay.
Yeah, I'll usually reach over and slap, make sure you're there.
Are you there? Yes, I'm here. God, I was asleep.
I don't wake you up.
No.
I just touch.
No, because even though I have sleep apnea and never really get into a good sleep, I sleep hard. It takes a lot to wake me up.
I don't. It doesn't.
I can breathe heavily, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I hear.
Shut up.
But then other times I sleep like a rock. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But like for instance, I don't know if you noticed this, but a couple of nights ago, I actually woke myself up laughing.
No.
Did you not hear me?
When was that?
That was a couple of nights ago. I can't exactly remember that dream in particular, but I did. It was so funny that I actually woke up laughing. I woke myself up laughing. It's a weird thing. For anyone who has ever talked or like screamed in their sleep, and you can hear yourself screaming or talking or laughing in your sleep. It's a really surreal feeling, and it makes you aware that you are dreaming. You're in fact dreaming, or at least it is for me. So I started laughing, and then I realized I was dreaming, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm dreaming. Oh, that was funny." And it just kind of...
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I've had that happen a couple of times.
Why are you so strange?
I don't know. It's the way my brain's wired.
I know, it's weird.
And like one of my me and my best friend used to talk about our dreams a lot, and I've had some very ultra realistic nightmares. One in particular that I remember was, and this is when I was in high school, and it was I was asleep, obviously.
Wow.
But in my dream shut up. In my dream I was asleep and I was abducted by aliens.
Uh-huh.
And they were torturing me, and I could feel them torturing me.
Oh,
and
anal probing?
No, like cutting on me and stuff.
Oh,
yeah, it was graphic torturing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
but this was some lighthearted anal probing.
No, I said it was a nightmare. It was a vivid nightmare, and
you're saying that anal probing's not a nightmare?
I mean, it's 2019.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag me. Wait. Anyway, so like I was being.
So it was hardcore torture.
Yeah, I was being tortured by these aliens, and I so like they were putting me under water. This is the creepy thing. So they were putting me underwater, so I couldn't breathe.
Uh-huh.
And all I could see was this crack of light.
Uh-huh.
And when in transitioning from being asleep to awake, because it actually woke me up, the light that I was actually seeing was from where the covers were over my face, and that's where the sunlight was coming through. So while I was dreaming at that certain point, I actually opened my eyes while I was asleep, and I was seeing that light, which transitioned into my dream.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So this is what you can do when you have dreams.
Right, yeah. Don't know anything about that. The only time I ever experienced that is like if I woke up and I fall back asleep and then my alarm, like that weird in-between sleep when your alarm's going off, and I usually dream that the noise is, like my alarm noise is in my dream somehow. And it's always so confusing.
Yeah, yeah.
You wake up and you're like,
what the fuck?
Right. It's that kind of sleep where you wake up and you're like, oh crap, I'm late for the bus. Oh no, it's Sunday. Oh wait, I'm 35. I don't go to school.
Yeah.
It's like you have to process your whole life to make sure you're okay.
One of the other weird types of dreams that I have is I'll have to pee in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And
because you're an old man.
Yeah, because I'm an old man. And in my dream, I know I have to pee.
Uh-huh.
So like I'm searching for a place to pee in my dream, right? And I know what you're probably thinking. Well, if you found a place to pee and started peeing in your dream, you'd probably pee your pants. That's not the case, actually. So like I'll be in a dream trying to find a place to take a piss. And I'll find it, like whether it's a toiletry or whatever, and I'll just sit there and just keep peeing and keep peeing and keep peeing and keep peeing in my dream because I still feel like I have to pee.
Because your body is still like,
yeah, my body's
dude, you
like,
still have to pee.
My body's still like, yeah, dude, come on, you got to take a piss. So in my dream, I'll just sit there and infinitely pee, and I'm like, I can't get any relief. Why is this happening to me?
So that sounds like more like a nightmare.
And then I'll wake up and be like, oh, I gotta pee.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why.
Or
those are the worst.
Other types of dreams that I have are where I'll be underwater and I'll actually be holding my breath in real life. Those are pretty bad. But then eventually you hold your breath for so long, your body eventually says, hey, dummy, you need to breathe. So even though in your dream you're underwater, you'll feel yourself go and take that first breath. And then in my dream, I'll be like, oh, I can breathe underwater. And so I'm just underwater and I'm just like swimming around. I'm like, I can breathe and you guys can't.
Like a fish.
Yeah.
You're so strange.
I have weird dreams.
So, speaking of dreams, do you believe that dreams mean things?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do you have any dreams that you've had that you have put meaning to that you can say like I had this dream and this is what I think it means?
I'm sure I've had a few. I know you're setting me up for it. I'm not telling it.
I'm not setting. What am I setting you
Trying
up for?
to set me up. Yeah.
I mean, let's be authentic here.
There are certain dreams that do have meaning behind them, but I wouldn't necessarily say all of them do. Like a dream one of my friends Ryan had.
Should have had Ryan join us for this conversation.
I asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast. He was like, "No, I'm good."
Probably doesn't like it because of your views.
No,
like, I'm not listening to that political nonsense.
No, he doesn't care about that. He knows I don't really care about it either.
Yeah.
But
that's the key to lifelong friends.
his dream, he told me, he was he was walking through the hospital, this hospital, and he said he walked next to this guy who was on a gurney, and he had half of a person sticking out of him. Like, if you've ever seen Total Recall, you know what I'm talking about. Have you ever seen Jesus Christ, really? How have you never seen Total Recall?
This goes back to our first episode
All
where
right.
I haven't seen anything, and you know this, and yet every time you mention something, and I'm like, I've never seen that.
Anyway,
you're shocked.
In Total Recall, there's this character named Guado.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And Guado is a mutant. He is part of another person.
Okay.
So it looks like a little baby midget sticking out of his gut. Okay. That's, can you kind of get from?
Oh yeah, I
from
can
like
see it.
he has no legs. It's
Yeah.
just his torso coming out. And he's got arms and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So
got it.
Ryan sees this guy
Who looks like
that on a gurney.
Okay.
And he said the baby, the other person, whatever, like looks down and smells the sheets, and he's like, this bed smells like shit. And then he smells the guy, he's like, this guy smells like shit. And then he smells himself and he goes, I smell like shit. And that was it. That was his dream. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? He's like, I don't know, but it made me laugh.
Did it make him feel like he needed to take a shower?
No, not really. Yeah, just a weird ass dream.
That is really weird.
I'm probably telling it a little bit wrong, but
Probably.
he doesn't listen to the podcast, so he's not here to correct me.
Well, that's his loss.
Yeah.
So is this a place where I can say awful things about him and I won't have to apologize later?
Pretty. He's one that you can. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I don't have anything awful to say about Ryan.
No.
Anyways.
But dreaming's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I'll some of the best dreams I have are my alarm goes off for work at 5:30, and I hit snooze until about 6:45. No, I usually do not go that late. It's usually around 6. So it's usually about 3 hits of the snooze, 3 or 4 hits of the snooze button.
I get 3 hits and then I get up.
But in between those hits, I have the most like vivid dreams that I can possibly have.
Yes.
And but I don't hardly ever remember those.
See, those are the ones that I do remember.
Those are the ones that you do remember?
Yes. I can't remember them now because I haven't had any in a while. But if I'm going to remember a dream, that's the one where I wake up and I'm like, yeah.
No, not me. I don't.
They usually involve you leaving and me having to deal with you having another wife.
I have had dreams like that before. Those are like to face your own insecurities.
Sure.
I had a dream long time ago when I was living with my brother Mike, And I had a dream that he and my girlfriend at the time got together. Yeah, I was pissed at him for like almost the entire day for something that he did in my dream.
Well,
yeah, I was pissed at her too.
It's also kind of believable.
No, it's not.
Not on his part.
No, that's the last. He would never do anything like that.
Well, no, I don't think that on his part.
Then why'd you say it?
I said not on his part.
It takes two to tango.
Does it?
Yeah.
Not in cases of rape.
Well, first of all,
I'm just
it's
saying.
hard to rape a guy unless you go him in the butt.
Nope, not true.
I don't want to have this conversation.
Do we need to have the consent conversation?
No. Regret is not rape.
I'm not saying regret is rape.
I'm just saying that.
All I'm saying is that you can rape a man.
We're talking about dreams. This is the worst podcast we've ever done.
It is not.
It is.
This is not worse than Pepper the Target.
No, this is worse than Pepper the Target.
No, it's not. We're having a good conversation.
No, I'm not feeling it. You're not participating very much.
I don't have a lot to say about dreams.
I realize that. You could lie to the audience. I mean, they don't know.
I can't do that.
They don't know anything.
Right. But we are authentic.
Yeah.
We don't lie.
Never have, never will.
What you see is what you get.
Dreams are cool. I like them.
Yeah.
I like dreaming. Sometimes it's hard to wake up because you'll be having a good dream. You're like, no.
Excuse me.
I don't want to wake up. I want to go back to my dream.
Hmm.
Like you'll be dreaming that you're rich stuff and like you're able to tell your boss to go to hell, and then you wake up and you're like, I gotta go to work. It's so disappointing. It's like, God, I built myself up in my dreams. Now I gotta go to work.
Now I can't say any of that stuff.
It's fucking bullshit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I only have nightmares.
Tell us some of your nightmares.
Well, let's see here. They usually involve me being kidnapped and trying to get away from a kidnapper. They're dark.
Well, tell us some.
I just did.
We'll go into detail.
I don't really have much detail behind that. I'm running, terrified, hiding, because there's a kidnapper trying to get me.
Do you ever have those dreams where like you're running, but it feels like you're running in quicksand,
No.
where you can't move?
No.
What about?
No, when I'm running, and I wake up like heart racing, can't breathe.
Really?
Yes, 100%. Like I've woke myself up crying before.
I don't think I've ever woken up crying.
I have.
But I have. I've had dreams where like it feels like I'm running in sand. I've also another common dream that I have, and this has to do with protecting the family, is it'll be me trying to shoot a gun to save someone's life,
Mm-hmm.
and the trigger is so heavy I can't pull the trigger.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like instead of, and I know how much a trigger pull feels. I know what a trigger pull feels like, obviously, but for whatever reason in my dream, it's like it's so long and difficult to pull that I can eventually pull the trigger, but I've pulled so hard that I can't hit anything. That too. So, and I can't just be like pow 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 pow. It's like bang! I missed. Bang! It's the weirdest feeling.
That is weird.
And you can feel it in your muscles and stuff. Wow.
So one of the other weird nightmares I haven't had in a while, but it's one that as growing up I had it a lot and it stuck with me. But I used to always have this dream that up until I was like 10, we lived with my grandparents. And so their next door neighbor had like this like one big island that was all wood chips.
Yeah.
And we used to run around in it and stuff. And I consistently had this dream and haven't had it in years, but it just has always stuck with me and something I remember. that we would be like running in the wood chips, and then the wood chips would all turn into snakes.
Interesting.
And then we'd be like stuck in the snake pit and die. Basically.
Can't get out of the snake pit. That's an interesting dream. So you do.
It's terrifying.
You have dreams. You have nightmares.
I have nightmares. I don't have dreams.
Yeah.
They're not ever happy. They usually end up in me dead.
Yeah, mine too. One of the things I used to say is especially growing up, since my dreams are so vivid, is that I'm pretty sure I know what it's like to get blown up, stabbed, shot, because like I feel the pain in my dreams, or I used to. I'm able to. I don't really feel that much anymore.
Yeah.
But like I remember waking up in excruciating pain and stuff from.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like getting shot and stabbed and everything. So my brain apparently has a decent idea what it feels like.
Yeah.
One of my most reoccurring and terrifying dreams that I have is dying in a plane crash.
Which is why you don't fly.
So you were asking earlier, do you think dreams mean anything? And I said, I do sometimes.
It depends on the dream. And
this is one of those things that I do believe. I know this is weird, and this is probably self-fulfillment somehow, but I do believe that I'm going to die in a plane crash. I've always believed that ever since I was a kid.
That's such a... How did you come up with that?
Well, because we almost did die in a plane crash.
Right. And
we were I think we were coming in Fort Lauderdale, and we hit a wind shear in a L-1011, and the wing dipped, and I pretty much looked over at Dad, and he had that look on his face like, well, fuck, this is it. It's been real. And it was really scary. Like the overhead bins came out. I mean, like typical.
Did the oxygen mask come out?
I don't remember if the oxygen mask came out.
Did they have oxygen masks back then?
Yes, they did. But that's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life is that. So I'm pretty sure that's where the fear of flying comes from. But I still to this day have frequent dreams about dying in a plane crash.
Well, it doesn't help that you're surrounded by airplanes.
No, I am in the airline industry, which is kind of ironic. So, yeah, I could go the rest of my life without ever getting on an airplane. And, people are like, oh, well, you're going to die. You got to die at some point. It's like, I'm not afraid to die. And that's God's honest truth. I'm not afraid to die. It's
not the death what happens next. It's the act of actually dying and the slow...
There's so much that can go on in a plane crash that people just don't realize.
Unless you watch hours of
or documentaries,
airplane disasters.
Like the Hawaiian woman on Hawaiian Air where the top of the airplane came off.
Yeah.
And she got sucked out of the airplane. She got sucked out of an airplane.
Right. At
35,000 feet.
Like, I would assume a heart attack would kill you first.
You gotta hope. You gotta hope and pray.
Like, I'm praying that I die of cardiac arrest before anything else, like frostbite or something happens.
At 35,000 feet, the amount of time it takes for you to asphyxiate is very quick.
Right.
There's not a lot of oxygen up there. We're talking a couple of seconds. Yeah. Right? So this woman who got sucked out of an airplane, boy, this turned into a dark episode real fucking quick.
Well, when you start out with suicide.
Yeah. So when you're at that height, she's going to asphyxiate really quick and pass out, not to mention the trauma of being sucked out of normal pressure into that low of pressure.
A depressurized.
Yeah, it could... it's going to do some trauma and stuff as well. So hopefully you're hoping that killed her. But let me just, throw this at you. What if halfway down she woke up because there's more oxygen?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let's
say at 10,000 feet, she wakes up. Badly injured.
And then you go into shock.
On the brink of death. I'm not saying that she was even... I'm not saying that even if she had a pair of wings and could glide down to safety, she
Right.
would even live. We're talking like, what if she gained consciousness for like 10 seconds at 10,000 feet and realized how she was going to die?
Right.
And it takes a while for a human to hit the ground from 10,000 feet in the air.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no. I'm perfectly good with not having to deal with that ever in my life.
Well, and I don't think you have to worry about the top of an airplane being ripped off as much now as you do pilot error.
Yeah. There's that. Okay, so
I think the maintenance is not as big of an issue as pilot error is nowadays.
So what's worse in your eyes? Being sucked out of an airplane, hopefully the trauma will kill you before you reach the ground, or being on an airplane and knowingly going into knowing that you're at 35,000 feet and you're in a nosedive,
Right.
and that you're just going down and down and down. You're like, you have a lot of time to think about that.
Yes, you do.
You have a lot of time to realize that you're about to die.
Not necessarily.
I want to step out of the office and I want a meteor to go through my brain. You know? No time to think about aneurysms. I know they're scary as hell, can happen at any point in time. We've all got a ticking time bomb in our brains. But the thing is that when that goes off, lights out, you're done.
Yeah.
It's in a flash. When you get shot in the head, it's a flash. You know, there's certain things that happen to you that are a flash. Falling from 35,000 feet in a metal tube that is filled with flammable liquid,
Mm-hmm.
not my ideal way of going out.
No.
You know?
But the same could be said about getting into a car.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm gonna sit there for a minute and be like, oh, here comes that tractor trailer truck. It's gonna be, oh Jesus, that's it.
Right. If it kills you.
If it kills me, yeah, I may wake up mangled. That's fine. I didn't fall 10,000 feet, 35,000 feet to my death.
Not okay.
No, it's fine.
That's not fine.
Yeah, it is. It's fine. That's part
No,
of life.
because then I have to take care of you.
Oh my God.
You better hope that kills you.
That's why I don't like to fly. And we completely got off topic, but
That's not off topic. We got here because you were talking about one of your reoccurring dreams is dying in a plane crash. We're on topic. As long as you can circle back, that's all that matters.
yeah, I guess so. Anyway,
Yay.
Christ, this is over. I'm serious. Like, I don't. Fuck airplanes. I don't want to go that way. Oh, here's a fun little nugget, too, about talking about having to fall to your death.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember Challenger?
Yeah.
They survived the explosion.
Okay.
Think of how high they were.
Yeah.
And they fell all the way back down.
But by the time they hit the ground, they were dead.
No, the fall killed them.
They died on impact?
Yeah.
From that high up.
Yeah. They're wearing pressure suits.
No. That's true.
I'd
rather not.
It was a theory for
Nope. Nope.
for a long time, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that was true. Anyways, it is a theory, maybe because they to go into my dorkiness, the shuttle.
You might as well stop the music.
No. We're gonna. How much time we got? We got good. We're good. So, the cockpit of the shuttle was designed to break off of the rest of the shuttle as a lifeboat in case of a catastrophic accident.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So it did what
Yeah.
it was supposed to.
Yeah.
They died on impact. And it wasn't in the capsule itself. It's like it shredded apart and threw them out and everything. So they, had the pleasure of being in the open air.
I have to hope, though. Maybe this is naive of me. But I have to hope that, like, you would pass out, go into shock, and not, like you're conscious, but you don't actually know what's happening.
Yeah. That's definitely not one of those times where you're going to be like, woosah, and just kind of, like, keep it calm and...
No, I'm going to let the shock take over and...
Oh, God! Give me a heart attack!
Cardiac arrest, come on!
Anyways, plug us. Let's get out of here. I got to edit this before we go to bed.
Yeah, we have to be up early. So thanks for listening to the Zadian Review. As you've heard, this week was dreams and death, apparently. So you can find us anywhere that podcasts are podcasted. iTunes, Spotify,
Stitcher,
iTunes,
or TuneIn.
TuneIn? Are we on TuneIn now?
Yeah, we're on TuneIn.
Oh,
We're on
look at you
TuneIn
go.
and Stitcher.
Okay, so we're now on TuneIn, Stitcher, iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play.
There's probably more, but who gives a shit? Anywhere you can find a podcast is where we're at.
Obviously, if you found this podcast, you can find us again. Hopefully. Excuse me. Find us on our social medias at the Zadian Review. That is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Give us a shout out. Tell us what you think. What would you like to get? What would you guys like to hear us ramble about? Feel free to join the conversation on our social medias. You have anything else?
That's it. We're averaging about we'll call it roughly 30 downloads per episode. So
yeah. Give us
that's more than extended family. Start spreading the word. If you really want to help us out, please just tell somebody about the podcast and get them to listen to it. And that does more help than anything. So,
and I may or may not have something up my sleeves that we'll talk about next time.
Okay.
Little teaser there. Little gifts.
Music's over.
Bye.
Bye.